Jack, your happiness word is expression. Tell us more about what expression means in happiness to you.
I am happiest when I'm expressing myself. I mean, seriously, I was a stage kid, always on the stage, musical theater, thought I was going to be a Broadway actor, went to theater school, debater, oral interp, just big on expressing myself. Kind of like to be the center of the attention, like to enter a room and have all eyes on me. I know it's needy. It's whatever. I'm over it. I don't care anymore. I'm now 60 and people can just get over the fact that I need attention. If you don't want to give it to me, don't give it to me. But there are plenty of people who will. So so for me being able to express who I am and share that openly and freely, that brings me happiness. Being me, 100%, not having to work super hard at holding myself back. My son and I have a thing between us that we say we believe in commitment to the bit. And commitment to the bit sometimes comes at a cost to someone's feelings. Sometimes you got to take it just that little step further because it's just begging you to take it that little step further, and you got to cross that line. And Aiden and I have a thing between us. We're like, yep, yeah, I knew you needed to do that because of commitment to the bit. I'll have to get over the fact that that's smarted a little bit. I can't behave that way around everyone. I have to have filters for some people. So for me, true happiness is that I just get to be me at full strength without a filter. I guess I get to express Jacqueline, who she is at the time she's feeling it. That's my ideal. It doesn't happen all the time, but I'm getting closer, right? Because as we get older, we are better at filtering for people that really vibe with us. We're better at saying goodbye to relationships that don't serve us. And I think we're better at liking ourselves and being okay with, okay, you don't like me? That's okay. Not everyone's going to like me. And it's okay.
What's really incredible is learning that you have been on the stage since a young age, which is really great for not only the expression, but learning how to be a storyteller. And you have a bit of mastery now in your storytelling and in front of the mic with your poetry. Tell us more about this.
Yeah, this is crazy, Christina. I wrote and published my very, very first book. I published it in January. I wrote it in 30 days, basically sometime between mid-September and mid-October. I had alluded earlier about the not being able to process the rite of passage of my son leaving and how it just kind of sat in a corner waiting for me. When I was physically healthy, I went into a depression. It wasn't a deep depression, it was mild. It was mild enough that it was confusing to me about what it was that I was feeling, if that makes any sense. And I'm not someone who has dealt with a lot of depression or anxiety in her lifetime, thankfully. Therefore, it made it even harder for me to identify it. But but I realize now that there was the empty nest lost. I kind of forgot who I was for a little while when I wasn't actively parenting every day. I forgot who I was. Add to that my baby sister, who she and I have lived our lives very synergistically, I mean, we have sons 10 days apart from each other. And we did that intentionally. That just goes to show you like what kind of relationship we've had. She wanted to move back to California. We're on the East Coast, and she did. She left me. She moved back to California. Boy, did that hit. And then I also alluded earlier to connection. And one of the best things about Kuel Life was developing friendships. Well, I've lost some friendships. I've lost some what I had considered lifetime friendships because they just weren't working anymore for the parties involved, me and the other human. And it's not that we don't like each other or don't respect each other. It was just, this isn't working. Maybe we need to take a break. all of that was so painful. And I wasn't equipped to handle it because I hadn't handled the depression about the empty nest. Yes, I went to therapy, but therapy wasn't enough. The next thing I knew, and I'm a writer, I've been a writer for a long time. I'm an essayist. You can find my essays under the umbrella of Jack Smack. There's a ton of them. And I write with sort of a tongue in cheek, sardonic, self deprecating tone. And I write a lot about the, the opportunities and challenges that come up in midlife. I thought that's what I would write, right? A bunch of essays. What came out was poetry. And if you ask, if your next question is, well, how long have you been writing poetry? Like, minutes. Like I started in September. Like whenever that happened, I started writing poetry, unless you count that poem that my junior year high school teacher made me write in English class. You count that one, then yeah, I'm a longtime poet. But if you don't count that one, then brand new, brand new to poetry. I found myself really enjoying the intellectual challenge of working to get my idea across, my feeling across with very few words, right? Because an essay is what? 800, 1,200 words, 2,000 words. You have a couple hundred words in a paragraph. You have a lot of room. You have a lot of room to share what's going on. Now do it in 4 lines and have it rhyme and not be silly. Go. And I found that to be a challenge, such a good challenge for me at the time. And it helped me get my feelings out. It gave me structure and it gave me purpose for 30 days. Every day I'd get up and I'd write a poem. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'd write a poem. And then I decided to record them in my closet. The book has a QR code with each poem. If you want to hear me, read it to you from my closet. It's not a professional recording. Da, da, da. It's literally me sitting on the floor in the dark in my closet.
Could you share one of your poems with us now?
I would love to. I can't believe it took you this long to ask. Okay, I'm going to share one that I think is a universal theme for most people, and that is, we all, when we're presented with a circumstance or a problem, or even if it's an opportunity, you want to show up with like the best of the best. You want the best tools in your toolbox to tackle it, whatever that is. And we all know that most of the time in life, we don't get to do that. We don't get to choose the toolbox for the moment. We just have to go for it. That's what this poem is about. And it's called A World in 3 Crayons. In life, we dream of vibrant hues, a box of crayons, vast to use. The 152 with colors bright, each shade defined, each line just right. With built-in sharpener to hone, we'd craft a masterpiece, our own. But often fate hands us a pack, 3 waxy crayons, colors black. No goldenrod, no midnight blue, just red and green and one askew. With crayons from a diner's tin, we fight the fight with what's within. No time to sharpen, no grand display, just scribbles made in shades of gray. We armor up with what we hold. Our tools are weak, but our hearts are bold. And though we wish for hues untold, for palettes rich and silver gold, we face the world with what we've got and hope to color life's blank spot. So here we stand, our crayons worn with simple tools, our spirits torn. Yet in these lines, rough and undefined, a deeper beauty we still find. With just 3 crayons, dull and bare, we sketch our stories and choose to dare. Though colors bleed and lines mislay, the heart remains in light and play.
Wow.
Yeah,
That,
I mean, everyone can relate to Crayola box, right? We all had that with the built-in sharpener.
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. And my last question, what advice would you give to someone who's looking to find their own expression in their own life, to find happiness?
Oh, I would think that if you're this age, you already know what it is. You're just not admitting it. I mean, maybe you just need to admit it. I doubt that you don't know what it is. I doubt that a woman this far along hasn't already had so many experiences that she could go back and go, okay, when did I feel most happy? When did I feel most resilient? When did I feel most whatever that is? And go back over your history. Take a little bit of an accounting. I wish I could tell you this was my idea, but I got this from Jane Fonda. She did a podcast with Julia Louis Dreyfus. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like learning from old people or something like that. And Jane Fonda talked about how she literally took an inventory, first 30 years, second 30 years. Now she's on her next 30 years. She's like, audit it. See what's worked, see what hasn't worked. Because the answer's already there. It's there. You're just, it's not magical. You've got it. You have it. You just have to look for it.
Jack, if you could give the gift of health, wealth, or happiness, which would you give and why?
Health. Health. You can't work on any of the other stuff unless you have health. That's like having the foundation. I don't care what the wallpaper looks like in your house. I don't care what the color, I don't care what the furniture looks like. I don't care how pretty that front door is. If the foundation of your house is not functional, all that stuff's going to fall apart. And so there's no sense in having reinvention. There's no sense in having expression if you don't focus on the health part. And that allows you to be resilient so that you can then pursue the reinvention. You can pursue the expression. At the end of all of it, you have to have the health and the resilience to achieve any of the other ones. I think it's like table stakes to me. You got to have it.
Now we have a question from our previous guest.
What person or experience deepened your understanding of gratitude?
I would have to say my son, and it was painful. I'm a huge gratitude person. I literally have it inked on my wrist. I have had an active gratitude practice now for over 20 years. I think I started it when my son was 2. I had a couple choices, right, on what kind of parent I wanted to be, what kind of mother I wanted to be. I could drown. I could allow the gajillion things that go wrong, gajillion things that go wrong. I could allow that to slow my past. I could allow that to change my direction on how I wanted to parent my kid. I could have done a lot of those things. And I chose gratitude. Even I would literally every morning write at least 5 things that I was grateful for regarding being a single mom, regarding having a toddler. I am grateful that my baby is so comfortable with me that he can stick his fingers up my nose for no reason at all while we're at the grocery line. I mean, stupid stuff like that, but that builds, that builds, that builds. There were plenty of opportunities where I could have chosen to not be grateful. There are so many times when you're raising a kid. I loved being a mother. I didn't like being a parent. I thought being a parent was the dumbest thing ever. How many times can you say, tie your shoe, tie your shoe, tie your shoe, tie your shoe? Where's your homework? Where's your homework? Where's your homework? That is so not gratifying. But being his mother, helping him find his strengths and work on like honing his strengths and then helping him identify his weaknesses and help him figure out workarounds to the weaknesses. And that stuff is fun, because you're helping develop another human. I have tons of gratitude and through much painful moments of anyone who's raised a kid from 0 to 18 knows that there's a lot of pain involved. And I'm grateful for every one of them.
Jack, I want to thank you so much for being a guest here today and sharing with us your poetry and your stories. You are so inspirational. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. I had way too much fun, and thank you for indulging me with my princess crown.